Amy and I will do a short summary of the conference. Some of you who are new to Methodism and new to our conference happens in the second week of June, which we had last week, the first week of June this year, in Athens, the Classic Center. And this year they restricted the conference due to COVID concerns to just the delegates. And all the guests were sitting outside live streaming. And they were about 1,500 delegates. That's lay and clergy all together. Our annual conference is called the North Georgia Annual Conference. The North Georgia Annual Conference voted to allow 70 churches to disaffiliate in the North Georgia Conference, which means they will no longer have the title and protection as United Methodist Church. So they can affiliate another denomination that is like Global Methodist Church or Free Methodist Church. There are other denominations and they can do that, but 70 churches disaffiliated in North Georgia Annual Conference. Now, when you hear the word 70, that's overwhelming. You think that that's a huge number of churches, but I want you to hear this. There are over 800 churches in North Georgia alone. That is 800 United Methodist churches. So 70 churches, if you do the math, I'm not very good at math, it's about 9% of the churches. But not all these churches were big churches like Mount Bethel, who had 5,000 members. Membership of these 70 churches make up about 3% of the total membership of the North Georgia Annual Conference. Now, what's the total number of United Methodists in North Georgia? It's about 360,000 lay members. So we are talking about 10,000 people, members who disaffiliated from the United Methodist Church. Also, there are about 1,300, that is 1,300 clergy members of North Georgia Annual Conference. Only 7 of them transfer their membership. Only 7 of them out of 1,300 clergy members. Some of the churches that disaffiliated in our area, just immediate area, I want to talk about Rome. In Rome, there are about 20 United Methodist churches. Did you know that? There are. Beach Creek UMC, Chapel Hill UMC, Metropolitan UMC, South Broad UMC, they have disaffiliated. And you're concerned about our church. So here's Millie's version. And I hope you trust me, and I hope you hear this, as I say it, with humility and gratitude as your pastor. Second Avenue will always be Second Avenue. Second Avenue's people, I hope, will be Second Avenue's people. We will not change a whole lot. What happens usually at the conference level has very little impact on us. We have gone through a similar change in 1969. As the Methodist Church South became the United Methodist Church. So this is not our first rodeo. And Second Avenue will be Second Avenue. The Book of Discipline will remain the same until the General Conference, which will be held in 2024. We will continue to be a church. And I have written in my newsletter article for June, our dividedness, our infighting, hinders our mission. Being a church right here on 2nd Avenue and East 8th, right here in this corner. Not only it hinders our mission, it hinders our very own existence. Small church like us, if we divide, this way, that way, we cannot survive. I hope and pray that you continue to pray for our church and that we go the way that we continue to be together and do the mission of Jesus Christ together. So that's all serious stuff, and if you have any questions, I and Amy will be here to answer your questions. Here's the good news. Now, they call this BEAT grant, Barnes grant. It is a grant that is given to churches. What they have done is, after the selling of churches and receiving the proceeds from all these closed churches, they have gathered all the money into one pot, and that created Barnes Fund. And that Barnes Fund is designated for mission of the church, to make disciples for the transformation of the world. So any church, any group in the United Methodist Church can apply for this grant and receive money to strengthen our church and our ministries. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas. As you know, I'm crazy and I'm hands-on. I like to do things. And I love to go out and do things. I mean, I want to apply for a food truck so I can go with y'all and where there's food desert and feed the hungry. I want to create a garden in our backyard where the playground is, and grow produce and hand them out for free. I have crazy ideas. But you got to be with me. And we have to do it together. So I want to cook up some ideas, ministry ideas. We exist not for our own, not just the members of our church, but for the world. Rome is a pretty Christian city, but there's so many people who do not go to church. That breaks my heart. I don't know about you. That breaks my heart. Whatever it takes, I want more people sitting in these pews. Whatever we do, I want more people to darken the doors of our church, the threshold, the narthex, or even fellowship hall. So I want you to pray with me. I want you to have crazy, wild ideas. And I'm very good at writing grants. So we'll do it together. Amy, I invite you.
I know that you're all anxious to get out, but we sat through 3 days. You can sit through 3 more minutes. Okay? After missing 2 years of in-person conferencing due to COVID, the conference met again last week, and your church was represented by Reverend Dr. Millie Kim, Deaconess Susan Stroop, and lay leader Amy Aston. Every time I sit through a voting session, I am thinking about you, and I am trying to decide how would the people at 2nd Avenue want me to vote on this issue. The theme for the conference this year was a place for you at the table, and every program we had reminded us that we are all at a table and we need to all be inviting people to this table. All people, everyone should be able to come to our table, even though we all identify differently. My name is Amy Aston. I identify as a Caucasian female. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm known as a sister, a mother, and a fantastic grandmother.
That is true.
I'm sure that you identify a little differently, but no matter how a person identifies, we all have a place at the table. A brief overview of our days together would go like this. First of all, we are divided into 5 areas of focus, all the work of the North Georgia Conference, and they would be scriptural literacy and imagination, health and well-being, community engagement, racial justice and healing, new faith opportunities, and communities. Members of the North Georgia Conference ratified disaffiliation agreements of 70 total churches. The Board of Pension and Health reported recommendations This included a decrease in rates charged to participants in church portion for clergy health insurance. Additionally, the Conference Board of Pension and Health Benefits voted to designate a portion of an overfunded retiree medical fund to offset unfunded pension liability. Commission on Equitable Compensation, conference members approved a 5.6% increase to the minimum salary of clergy and a similar increase to the minimum housing allowance. This is the first increase of that type since 2018. We are getting new strategic headquarters for the United Methodist Center. And the relocation task force gave its report. They recommended we buy property adjacent to the College Park UMC to build a 5,400 square headquarters building, and conference voted to approve this. Board of Ordained Ministries ordained and presented licensed local pastors, provisional candidates, and candidates for ordination. The North Georgia Conference adopted 2 resolutions, both related to Native American history. Bishop Sue Hoppert Johnson, who is wonderful in my opinion, officially fixed the appointments of clergy effective July 1. The thing is, all of these details and more you can find on the website, ngumc.org, and they can give you, everything is right there, totally transparent. So if you have any questions, you might want to go there before you ask me anything. I brought with me today the program from the Service of Remembrance. If any of you would like to see it, you're certainly welcome. The reason is, I'll call him our Ken Godfrey is in here. And also, some of you may know Warren Jones. So if you'd like to look over that service that we did for Remembrance. I would like to thank you again for allowing me to go as your delegate, and remind you that if you have any questions, we're open and transparent, and if you want to take my place, we'll talk about that too.